really. Oh, that's right.
Don't break it. We're trying to sell it.
Are we trying to sell it? Because I feel like if you look at it, you'd buy it. If you sat in it, you 100% would not. Let me put my phone on silent. We'll do a little intro here. All right.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Hello.
And welcome back to C.A.K.E, the Chris and Ketty Experience. This is episode 2, long anticipated because Chris was sick 1 week and now I am sick.
Episode 2, also known as episode Deva.
Yeah.
Divya? Mm-hmm. I thought...
Deva is... Anyway.
Hold on, what is Deva?
You want to have this conversation?
Yes, I thought 2 is DVA.
Yeah?
Deva.
Yeah.
The A has an accent on it.
Okay.
You have to explain this now. There's a whole thing. It should only... You're a linguistics expert.
If it's a masculine thing, it will be dva.
Yeah.
Dva pani. 2 men.
Okay, yeah.
If it's women,
Uh-huh.
or something feminine like chairs.
Okay.
Dvije židle.
Divya.
So it's dva for male.
Okay.
Dvije for feminine.
Okay.
We have grammatical gender in Czech.
And episodes are female?
That means that chairs have gender and a picture has a gender and a guitar has a gender.
Definitely male.
Actually, guitar is feminine. Look at the curves.
Okay, no, I see that. I guess every guitar I've had has had a girl's name. Never had a guitar named Greg. They've all been Jezebel. So podcast episodes are then.
So episodes are feminine.
Okay. Because women watch soap operas. I'm just trying to get little, things in my head to remember.
So once again, welcome to the podcast. We apologize for the delay with this episode, but regardless, our goal is to have at least 1 episode a month. So we are still on track with our goal. We've just been sick, so.
And I would like to thank everybody who showed up and showed out for that first episode. I think you guys really surprised us by the numbers. If I'm being honest, I'm a little bit hurt, but I'm also excited to see it growing and doing so well.
Why are you hurt that your project is doing so great?
You see, this is our project, comrade. And I feel like if I'm being super honest, I know. In my head, I always want to do something by myself and try it, and it never works well. And I just work better in groups. I'm a strong player in a group, but I think when I try to, do my own thing, like with my film photography videos, like they do okay. I, for some reason, am not a strong soloist. But man, I rock it in a duet.
You need to just discover your new audience. Because these folks probably don't care about film photography.
I think you mean
And if you do, you should go to Nuisance 88. All right, so there were many comments in the last video. I joked in the last episode that there's probably going to be like 2 or 3 comments. There were definitely more than that. So I went through them and I was asking you guys what you want to hear from us about. And there were some interesting topics that I didn't think we would ever touch on, like how I got here and what was it like being an au pair.
Ooh, okay.
There were at least 3 comments that mentioned that, which was really surprising to me. So I might consider talking about that in the future, but not today. Someone would also love to talk to hear us talk about our mental health.
Ooh, man, that'd be a fun one. Fun in that weird way.
That is probably like a whole podcast mini-series. Because, it's a lot. But the most requested topic was our open relationship. So we're going to talk about it today.
Monogamish.
We're going to talk about what it means for us, how it works for us, every relationship is different, so we're not going to pretend like we represent some kind of a group. This is just us and our experience.
That is true.
Keep that in mind.
We're not reminiscent of a community, and I only say that because I do know that there are communities out there of poly people, and they have different ways that they approach everything.
Yeah. So shout out to all of you who commented. I just want to read a few of the comments out loud. Wow, an open married relationship? I'm curious on how you guys make that work, and how did that even come about? You will talk about it. Will there be a guest that you bring on to speak that are close to your relationship? I thought it was an interesting idea, and maybe we will. I think that the only person we could bring is Navi.
No, you're misunderstanding that question, but...
What? Oh. Wait, what? No! Will there be a guest that you bring on and speak to that are close to your relationship?
There you go. No.
No, it's not like that. Again, we'll talk about it.
Also, would like to point out that I know what she just said a second ago. That's not... No, Navi is our friend. It's not like that.
Yes.
Don't be weird.
No.
You over here putting words into people's mouths. You gotta read one line deeper.
I didn't... Okay.
You're just so innocent.
I did not understand.
I know.
Can you talk more about being in an open relationship, and how would you suggest bringing it up to your partner? Asking for a friend, aka myself. We will touch upon that as well. And how does the baby work with an open relationship? I mean, I get how it works physically, but practically, there would have to be some rules, right? Whether there's a baby or not, there are rules.
Indeed.
Yeah. Lastly, I want a girlfriend. I want to be in a relationship. How can I meet a girl and get her interested in talking with me? Not really related to the open.
Well, that one I could take care of pretty easily.
Yeah, we will answer that question towards the end of this podcast. There was also a height of interest about the sheepskin story that we mentioned about twice. So at the end of this podcast, a little bonus story will tell you the sheepskin story. So if you're interested, stay tuned.
Oh, can I just say too, right now, for anybody who happens to be watching this far into this podcast already, we're in a 7-minute era. If you don't want to hear about these things, you should bail. Any family members or anybody else who's watching, like, just, dip. This isn't for you. But also, this conversation isn't going to be, I guess, very graphic. I mean, we're just going to be talking, like, conceptually and stuff, and there'll be some word choice, but we're pretty PG-13 folks, I imagine. So, that's all. Just want to throw that out there.
So, now let's talk about the thing that everybody tuned in to hear about. What are we?
2 people, friends, husband and wife, a Czech, an American, Hoosiers. I don't know.
Sure. We are all that, but we also are we are ethically non-monogamous.
Yeah, for the time being.
That is what ENM means. If you've seen it in the comments, it is different from polyamory, as we highlighted earlier, but do you want to talk more about the differences?
From what I understand about polyamory, at least from the handful of people I know that participate in it, is that it's like very much more emotional based, where you're dating emotionally, like a couple of different people. So you can be in a polycule, which is like a group of people that are all not quite interdating, but someone's dating someone, it breaks down in a lot of different ways. And because there's a lot of people involved, it can manifest in a lot of different ways. I'd also like to point out right now that I'm not an expert about this by any means. This is just kind of what I know, and I'm still learning about it. Also, I do have, as I have understood recently, it's very non-hierarchical, which I totally understand. But that doesn't really ride with me. And I talked with some people about it, and I get it. I get why other people... I get why, if you're poly, that you're not for the whole hierarchical thing. And I do see the benefits of it, and I do see why people would get into it. But for me, that doesn't really drive.
Like primaries when they are?
Primaries or nesting partners. But essentially, imagine this. You could be dating someone who you love equally to the amount that you love me. And for me personally, where I don't jive with it is that like I don't have that kind of emotional range. Mm-hmm. I love you so much. I can't imagine loving anyone else the same way that I love you. Mm-hmm. And that feels like a lot of work. Mm-hmm. For me, it feels like that no one would be getting 100% of me and everyone would be getting percentage break-offs. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, but that's me. And I know that it works differently for everybody else, but that's where I think I get off of the poly bus, is that like, I don't really see that as a possibility for myself, and it would be a lie to say that I could.
Yeah. And I'm kind of on the same boat. I don't really think that I would be able to. This is more of a question of time management, really, for me.
Yes.
Where I don't think that I would be able to like pay as much attention or would want to pay as much attention to another person as I would to you.
Yeah. And the idea too about like not starting over, but getting to know someone completely from the ground up to build that kind of strong, sturdy relationship, I feel like I don't have the bandwidth for. Yes. And like, I'm just like, it wouldn't make sense. It would be starting off whatever, you're starting off with somebody else, like by shooting it in the foot, like off the rip. Like it's not gonna work.
So would you say that polyamory is more of an emotional investment?
Yes.
Versus non-monogamy is more of a physical relationship?
Maybe. Because I think, like because it's all a spectrum, a lot of different things can fall a lot of different places. I think if polyamory is on one side and swingers are on the exact opposite end, that non-monogamy falls somewhere closer towards the middle, I would think. If I'm giving it my take, that's my take. Please don't come at me.
I think I was thinking about it as I was writing my notes. So again, we're not experts, but this is kind of my understanding of the dynamic. And I think one of the reasons why I can't be polyamorous is because I don't think that I want to know the people that you are with when you're not with me. Like, I don't think I want to be in a polycule where there's like, I don't know, 5 of us and we know each other and, that's just really, to me, it's just not what I would prefer. I don't know how I would navigate that relationship. I feel like it's a lot of work. I'm a very introverted person. So for me, it's a lot of work to manage my friendships. And I barely have friends outside of the normies, really. So, and it's already a lot for me to just have that group of friends sometimes. So, yeah, I don't see myself happy or thriving in a polyamory type of situation.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Well, that's that's not quite the mechanics, but the why. When did this start?
Yeah, well, I mean, we kind of haven't discussed why.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because for this part, I think that was all. Was it all theory?
It's basically like, what is this? Where are we on the spectrum? I guess so. We are in the ethical non-monogamy,
or the monogamish
type of bubble.
99% of the time, it's just the two of us.
Yes, we are very passively ethically non-monogamous.
Yeah, I would say so. One of my inspirations in this is we have, and no names, please, as we do, but we have a friend, and they're they're gonna get married, and they have a few kids, and they seem to do it super well and super good, and are able to maintain their own boundaries and like their relationship, and that's great. And like, your relationship is one of the most important things to me. So like, I want to keep that as strong as possible, and I want to maintain those boundaries. And as I found out that it's not that poly people don't have boundaries, it's that they have much different boundaries. And so like, that is kind of the rub. That's where the rubber meets the road. It's probably the wrong term to use right here, but you get what I mean.
I think it's the right term.
But I mean, rubber is also a colloquialism for a condom, and so where rubber meets the mud.
Maybe not with the road.
Indeed. All right. So yeah, how did this get started? Because I feel like this was more from your angle than it was from mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Elaborate. How is this me?
I don't know. You have to go on about your bi-wife journey because that's essentially where this started.
Okay. Well, we started as a traditional monogamy marriage. I mean, as a couple, we were monogamous. What?
Yeah, I just want to mention one last thing.
Okay.
Is that there's no selling if we'll be ethically non-monogamous forever? Or
No.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like
it's a journey.
Yeah, it's a journey, and it's all up to discussion at every step of the way. So, in the event we decide to have a conversation to shut it down, we'll shut it down or not. You know,
which we have before.
It goes on. All right, so
yeah. All right, so we started before we got married. We were monogamous. After we get married, we continued to be in a monogamous relationship, but there were some reasons why we started to, I guess, explore other options. Not because we were unhappy with each other or because, we were bored of each other or anything like that. I think one of the reasons why we started discussing it is because, there were some experiences that either of us didn't get to live through in our single life, and we felt like it was unfair that we wouldn't have that experience if now that we're married, you know what I mean? And it's just like, yes, this relationship is obviously more important to me than anything.
Until we have a kid.
I have this thing?
Yeah.
And it's not obviously this has to be a consent on both sides. So if either is not comfortable with any of these experiments, then they're not happening. So communication is key.
Like a lot of talk.
Yes.
A lot of
yes.
ongoing conversations.
Ongoing conversations and evolving rules around what we do. So it started with basically me expressing that, I haven't really been with another girl, and I kind of wanted that, and I just never found anybody to be with. And so we started talking about it. You really wanted to be there for that, and I kind of expressed that I would really like to have that experience for myself, and that I'm open to having, other shared experience in the future, but I really wanted the first to be just for me.
Yeah.
We had some disagreements with them. I think we're at that point. That was like the beginning. This is the beginning conversation, right?
It took me a minute to understand.
What are we doing? What are the rules? What is the intention?
And I think that was like one of those things where I had an idea about what it all meant, but as we talked about it more, I started to understand where you were coming from, and I was like, oh no, that tracks, and that's cool.
Yes. And so that is how it came to be. But besides my interest in being with a girl, another issue and another reason why we wanted to be more flexible with our monogamy is because we have a mismatched libido, where mine is very much seasonal. I do have seasonal depression, and so, in winter is really hard for me to have desire to do anything, and especially sex, which is unfortunate. But yeah, and Chris is very interested in having sex all the time.
All right.
We were talking about you being a whore.
Yeah, I prefer the term. Honestly, it's changing so much because I'm so busy now that I feel like it's less and less. But yes, I have a higher libido, and so there's times where it's a little mismatch, and I actually don't think that that's a really great reason to get into. I mean, maybe it is, and I could have lived without it. I can still live without it, but as an option, I was like, yeah. And as an exercise, I've only really put in an exercise a handful of times, so it's not even like it's that often.
A handful. yeah, and I would also say, I mean, you've exercised this opportunity multiple times. I haven't at all.
And so in that way, the scales aren't quite balanced.
Well, I mean, you put in the work and I don't, so there's that.
You see, what you need to let me do is put in the work for you.
I don't want to do that.
And set you up with a hell of a layup. It'll be like from downtown, like I'll just throw the ball and you'll just be standing under the rim. You'll jump up, grab it, and just slam it in. Got you.
Sure. But you made a good point with, like, that's not a good reason. I mean, it can be for some people and it can be for some couples, and it might just be enough and make you guys still happy or even happier with each other than you were before, if all the needs are met, I guess. But I think that before any of that happens, there is like a prerequisite, and that is, I think, time that you guys spend together in this relationship, and trust that is built throughout that relationship, and kind of like this sense of safety or security in that relationship, where you feel like you can let your partner go and then it will come back.
I think some people actually start off from this. Like, some people are on the same page about it. Like, two bi people that are getting together, and it works really well and it makes a lot of sense. I think they can go at it, or any of those configurations. But for us, it was about like being sturdy and like having a really solid ground to stand on before we took any steps anywhere else, which is totally understandable. And like, once again, could be something for everybody. Maybe not. I just think you don't meet somebody on the first date and try to have a threesome. That sounds like unless this person you met is super about it.
Sure. I mean, who knows?
Look at the Romans.
Yeah. Fine. But yeah, I think that for me, this conversation wouldn't be happening like when we just got married or when we just started dating. Because I think, I mean, we kind of talked about, even before getting married, I was worried because, I feel like generally I am more, not close-minded, but less adventurous about sex.
Okay.
And yes, about sex.
Says the Czech who lives in America. I'm not very adventurous at all. I've never gone anywhere.
I think that you are more open to like to go to sex clubs and things like that, which I tried to go with you, and it's really not my cup of tea, so, and I don't want to like deny you that, but I also at the same time don't want to participate. And I do think that I think maybe we had some conversations about this at the beginning or when we just got married, but it was not like rooted in that like trust and that foundation that we've built that's like really strong now.
Yeah.
And like now we can have this conversation and our foundation will not like shake. But before, if you were to like bring something like this up to me, I would obviously try it, but if I didn't like it, and maybe I would be insecure. I think that the insecurity is a really big part of my journey with non-monogamy.
Yeah.
And just being able to, I guess, let go of you for one evening when you go out with somebody else, and knowing that you will come back to me.
Which I would find it wild if I did. Not even like conceptually, but like emotionally.
But
I know what you mean. Yeah.
The insecurity that I feel is valid.
Yeah.
And I think that, if anybody out there listening can relate to this, I think the most important part is have the conversation with your partner and acknowledge that you have insecurity about certain things.
You were feeling it. Well, if there was,
thoughts.
But yeah, if there was a chance to feel insecure, it wouldn't make sense to go out trying new stuff. You really want to build a foundation. I think that's what we got at. Yeah. What I was gonna say is, I don't think people are watching this because they're curious about how to do it themselves. I think you motherfuckers is just nosy.
Well, that is also a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really feel like but
maybe in the future you might apply some of this
in
your life.
This feels like probably one of the most quote unquote intimate conversations we've had on the internet. I feel a little exposed here.
Naked?
A little bit, but I mean, I think it's good we're talking about.
Yeah.
So here's my points, and feel free not to answer any of this if you don't want to. But I personally think my take, probably on life as a whole, is that while it is important to prepare and grind towards the future, it is also very important to live in the now. Nothing is guaranteed. Tomorrow's not promised for anybody. 2020 was crazy. And if something like a 2020 can happen in our lives, then who knows what else can? And doesn't it make more sense to strike while the iron is hot and you are young on some of these situations? And if there's a way that I can help, you just have to let me know. And I know we're about to have a kid and things are going to be all up in the air, but there are still opportunities. There's still times. In fact, after we have our kid, I bet there's going to be a lot of times where you're very glad you're alone and slightly unbothered. No offense to the Chibi. Also, Chibi, you shouldn't be watching this. You probably aren't. This will probably be deleted off the internet by the time you're born, because the internet won't even be a thing anymore by the time you're a teenager. But you get what I'm saying? Is like, doesn't it make sense to get at it and get active now? Because I've seen you do the things you really want to do in life, and so I know you have the capability to push yourself to get it done.
Yeah. So I guess it comes down to priorities for me, where I just feel like there's other things, and there's things in life that I really, really want to do. Like, I wanted to see the Grand Canyon, and I did. I just think that for me, like on my like list, my pyramid of needs.
Yeah.
Like sex
Marketa's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Marketa's hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
Okay.
Like the sex is probably like second to top or top. Like it's the small sliver.
Yeah.
For me. And especially when I'm in, those like lower periods where I just really don't even, like, it doesn't even cross my mind to, masturbate or have sex or anything. It just doesn't occur to me. Maybe even for weeks at a time. I just don't think about it. But I do think about, the things that fulfill me is seeing something new, experiencing something new. And I know sexually you can do that as well. But in my brain, it just doesn't register as that. Yeah. Like, I want to see more natural marvels. I want to see new cities. I want to taste new food. Sure, I want to have sex with a girl. But it's just like far, for me. So it's like it's on me. I don't put effort into it. And the few times, it's also discouraging because when I do, dating women is hard.
It is, but I also think it's the way you go about it, too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean...
Teach me, guru.
I've been around. I've been in various places in various scenes. I think I have a better understanding of how it works. There is not a disconnect, but the kink community isn't exactly I read this recently. This lady said, who is like friend of a friend, which is wild in a whole different way. But anyway, she said, I could live without sex, but I can't live without kink. And that's why there's a lot of kink parties that are kink based and not sex based. And that's why if you go to a swingers club, it's much different than a kink club, right? So there is a disconnect there. And I do think that if you spend time in the kink community, you could find a partner, but you can also but it's like, it's different. You know what I mean? Right now, you're looking in the vanilla world, you're looking online, there's a lot of different places. But other people...
I fall into the vanilla world.
I know, but, except for being ethnically non-monogamous. That would be wildly not vanilla.
So I'm like, just in the... So you're saying there's like the two circles that don't meet?
No, they do. I'm saying that you're looking online, and I think what you're going to find a lot of people are looking for isn't what you're looking for. And I think that out in the real world, that there is chances and there are ways, but like... So, and this might not be you, and if it's not, let me know.
We're back.
All right, so maybe you imagine your road on this path is a straight one in which but there's a gay joke in there somewhere. A straight one in which things work out in a way that you can suspect. But I think when it comes to meeting new people, especially some that fit a mold that aren't exactly typical, that you kind of have to be open to things and put yourself in positions to try new things. As an example, I love our relationship. I'm glad we're married. I couldn't be, I don't think, more pleased with our relationship on the whole. But also, if you would have thought about how we would have met, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, you're from a different country. You didn't even really read what I put on Tinder completely, and you usually read things pretty thoroughly. Like, there's a lot of reasons why we shouldn't have met, but we did. And I'm not saying that you need to be meeting the next best person in your life, but possibly to have this experience, maybe you do need to be slightly more open-minded and putting yourself in places where you might not usually go. You might find someone very similar to yourself there, or at least someone who is different, is willing to cater to the things that you are looking for still. And trying to find that on Bumble, Tinder, or any of the other places might not exactly be the way to go about it.
So where do you suggest I go?
I'm suggesting not that you come to the kink parties, but I'm saying that because I've gone to more and I understand how they work and I know the people that move in those spaces, that like meeting and talking to people there and like potentially setting up a thing. Oh, like you guys are super nice. Maybe we can hang out another time is kind of one of those ways to like go about it. For instance, the last one you were at, that was like the big drag show one, or the one where the lady was spinning fire. Remember? And we like talked to people after. We met that dude, L. He was like, okay, well, he's like a Latino dude. Yeah, like almost like a kind of not quite a pimp hat, but yeah. Remember, we met those people, right? And we're like standing around talking. Like I've seen those people at other things too, and like we're like acquaintances now. And I think that like that's how it goes. Also, as far as people in the kink community go, those people are much closer to us than like the people who are performing on stage. You know what I mean?
During the event.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So, like, imagine you're looking to meet other introverts, right? And you go your hardest to meet them. You could probably meet other introverts at parties. You know why? Because other extroverts bring their introverted friends to parties. But you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not what you would expect. But maybe by checking out some places where you quite wouldn't expect or doing more things like that, the traditional way to meet people right now is online. And I'm saying that maybe for what you're looking for, that might not be the case anymore. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe. It is possible.
It is. And I feel like you know people and you know friends that would literally set you on the right track. Any of those people you did the shoot with at Jedediah's, half of those motherfuckers could put you on.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Or letting friends set you up with other friends, which isn't a thing anybody wants. But you guys go out on a date together. Worst case scenario, you don't like the date. Like, you know what I mean? There's other ways to meet people. And I think that you got to explore some of those ways. That's in general. That doesn't just go for our thing. That goes for you guys too.
How to lay a date.
Yep.
From Chris.
How to lay a date?
Lay up a date? Lay up? Lay? What's the word? How to set up a date.
There you go.
From Chris.
Not how to lay a date or how to lay up a date. Lord have mercy.
ESL. What can I say?
ESL. I thought that just meant Spanish for the longest.
Where the fuck is S-O? English as a Spanish language.
Oh, no, I just thought like ESL was like shorthand for like those people speak Spanish and they're learning English because that's all I've ever experienced in America.
Oh my God.
Obviously.
Okay. So now that we discussed where we are, what we've done, what we, what is our state of mind, I guess, about this. Let's talk about some things we've learned from this journey and wrap it up with the sheepskin story.
Oh my God.
So I think that just a few like do's and don'ts when it comes to things like this. One.
Hold on. Our do's and don'ts or general do's and don'ts?
I mean, they are do's and don'ts that we've learned.
Yeah. And also, I would like to point out again, specific to us, just because I found out that the community out there
is vast
and very poignant about the things that they believe in. So this isn't an umbrella. This is a Usbrella.
The Usbrella. TM. Communication. This is the big main thing for any relationship, even if you're monogamous, if you're polyamorous, if you're anything. On the spectrum, communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Have these open channels, but also have boundaries. Like what where your comfort level is, and as we all get older in time, we all change. Maybe the boundaries shift. So I think that the open channel is there for you to like update your partners. Like, hey, maybe I've changed my mind about this. But definitely, if you feel strongly about something, then set those boundaries so that you don't feel like you're not really having any say in what happens.
Yeah, you want to feel like you have a sense of control in it, I think.
Yes, exactly. So, I don't know, do we want to share some of the boundaries we have?
No.
No?
No. We're going to make people ask.
Sure.
If you guys want to know, maybe we'll share some of that. Maybe not. Maybe who knows? No, this way, I don't know. We keep a little bit of mystery.
If you want part 2 about our boundaries, let us know in the comments.
Cat hair.
I think another thing that we discovered is that whatever rule applies to one applies equally to the other.
Yeah.
So there should be the same amount of I guess opportunities
and fairness.
And so the fairness is important, where if for a while we had a boundary that we wouldn't cross, like this step in like physical intimacy, but over time we're like, okay, I'm okay with you doing that now, but it also means that I might do that.
Yeah. I also like to point out too that not our whole thing, it's not atypical, because there's not a lot of things that are atypical, but if anybody's hearing this and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get to do so many cool and radical things, it's probably not going to work out that way. It's probably not going to happen. And I don't know, like whatever your expectations are, tamper them a bit, I think, depending on where you live. I don't know, maybe you live in some place that's kind of wild, but if not, then just, I don't know.
Yeah. I think that, so anecdotal story, I guess. The first time we've actually applied this in practice, you went on a date with somebody, and that was like the first time for both of us, and that was the first time we put it also on ice, because I did not take it well. And it was because we realized after it happened that there's certain things that we didn't really communicate or suss out, and only as it happened, like I realized, actually, it wasn't even the sexual part that I was upset about, but it was like other things that made me feel jealous, and immediately, as soon as you came home, we had a conversation, and I was upset, but we figured it out, and because I didn't sit on it, and we just communicated to each other. We didn't let it fester,
which is important.
And we learned, first of all, we put the open relationship on ice for a little bit. Now it's back open, and we've learned. So like you have to be open to learn in this process. That maybe it won't always go the way you want, but then you need to analyze. Like, why didn't I like this? What exactly I didn't like about this, and how can we make sure that in the future I don't feel this way? Specifically, what I didn't like is that you spent money on a hotel room.
Yeah.
And I felt like I also should have been somebody that you spend money on. Yeah,
but I mean, I do, and we go on better dates now, but it's like, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you don't think about it because when we're together and we're spending money on each other, something like that. But I mean, I did, and I've tried to up my date game since then because that is important too, and it does strengthen the bonds of our own relationship.
Exactly.
Too.
So it feels like this anecdotal story. You know, it was.
Say that one more time.
Anecdotal.
There it is. Yeah.
Anecdotal story. It you know, was like a challenge for a day. But long term, we have better dates now. We go on dates more often. We like, you know, are actually like aware that like right now we are just doing lunch because we don't want to die from hunger. And right now we are on a date. We dressed up. We're like, you know, looking nice for each other.
Or at least went to a place. There's a lot of different things to differentiate a date between like, oh, we're just grabbing lunch.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that actually helped, you know. It was an obstacle that actually improved our relationship.
Yeah.
And we are, you know, from that small, like, I don't know.
From what was a hurdle at the time, essentially only made us stronger, which, once again, not the case for everybody, but it's cool that we were able to do that. And if there comes a hurdle in the future that seems like it's too tall to climb or something too big to tackle, then we'll just reevaluate the whole thing.
Yeah. And I think the last thing I would say is really important for us is like afterwards, after an encounter happens, like there needs to be this like I'm with you, like the assurance, you like aftercare or something like that, where you're just like, I'm back and this is us. We're here together. We go on dates. We go and do this and that. You know, I'm not a gift person. It's not my love language, but I love experiences and attention. So
who doesn't?
Knowing that you like you will do something for me, that you will like take me out somewhere where I like, you know, haven't been yet or like been talking about, knowing that you like pay attention to me. You know, like I don't care. No. At that point, I don't care that, you know, you were with somebody, and I just care that, you know, you had fun, and then now you're back with me.
Yeah, and I think all right. So since we're towards the end, I'm sorry, I have a splinter, so I'm staring at my hand. So the last time I was in Chicago, and I stayed at the Freehand, which is it's like a hostel kind of. There was a kid who was staying there. I'm calling him a kid. He was like 20 something, but like we were hanging out and chilling. And yeah, we are. And he was talking with me, and he was talking about like his girlfriend and shit. And he was like, yeah, man. He's like, you know, my girl like found out that I cheated on her. And I was like, oh, damn. I was like, how'd that go? He was like, you know, man, she got me back. You know, she slept with somebody too. So like, you know, God. That sucks. But like,
they're
we're
still
good.
Together?
Yeah. And I was like, damn. So like, what? I mean, like, you know, like ask him about it. And he's like, I was like, you gonna cheat again? He's like, I don't know. I'm gonna try not to, but maybe. And I was like, you guys are in an open relationship. You just aren't talking about it. And I think that this is my hot take, is that there are some people out here who do that, right? Like they get caught in the cycle of cheating and not cheating. I got friends who do this shit. And it's like just an open secret. Like, what's the point then? Like, you are already doing it. I know so many people who are non-monogamous, but like not ethically, right? Like, think about how many people you guys might know that just like, yeah, they cheat. That's just what they do. And like, why do all the extra steps and all that instead of just doing it normally? Could I be monogamous for the rest of my life? Yeah, well, I think so. I've done it for a big chunk of time, but having this flexibility is cool. And for people who just can't be monogamous.
Well, but you said the magic word, normal. And I think in a lot of, I guess, not cultures, but just in general, for a lot of people, knowing that some of their friends are just cheaters, or knowing, like, having these like secrets among friends groups that like, I know this guy cheated on his girl and we're never gonna talk about it. Yeah, it's very common, and it's normalized. It's not normalized. I mean, you still like kind of like, I guess, berate them
a bit, but
like, that is it. You know what I mean? They're gonna do it again, and that is the normal version of non-monogamy, right?
Yeah.
Like, whereas this, the way we practice, and other people practice non-monogamy or polyamory or anything else, is like abnormal, and it's just like looked upon as some kind of weird abnormality.
It's looked at as a deviation, but if you think about how many people already kind of cheat, then you would see that it's got a little bit more normalness to it. Yeah. So,
which is weird. Like, why did we normalize that? Yeah.
Patriarchy? Maybe.
Patriarchy.
Maybe. We'll solve this problem later because I don't think we can get it.
Yeah, we're not smart for that. So yeah, I think I don't really have any more in my notes. I don't know if you wanted to add anything to this. For now, I think we've kind of shared as much as we could.
Yeah.
Oh God. To the person who asked, I want to be in a relationship. How can I meet a girl and get her interested in talking with me? Here's a professional to answer your question.
Be interesting. Get hobbies. Sometimes the best way to attract people is by trying not to. Fun fact, you can go out and learn how to do different things. Stay open. Talk to people. There's a chance that maybe you can meet your future wife at a pottery class that you decided to take up because you were really interested in pottery. But like, for real, your hobbies can help you to meet people in general. Even if it's not the kind of people you're trying to date, you can meet their friends through that. So like, by being a well-rounded, interesting person, I think that can help you do that. If you have hobbies that aren't exactly in person, then maybe try to find some that are, or find a way to get the hobby that isn't in person to be more in person. That's what I would say. So let's say your hobbies are video games. Well, then you need to find where they're playing video games out in the world and just make friends there, even if they're guy friends. Those guy friends have female friends. So I don't know, there's ways.
One way leads to another. I think having shared hobbies or interests is a good foundation for a relationship. So if you meet somebody in a circle of, where you already are,
yeah, like D&D
the
likelihood
likelihood of your relationship lasting is that much greater. So if you're looking for a serious relationship, definitely go out to places that you already like.
You won't even play the lyre, though. I got you a lyre. I got you a little harp, a little cherub harp. You won't even play it?
I have never in my life played musical instruments.
Why won't you play the harp that I got you? You said you wanted a harp. You said it was a pretty instrument. I'm trying.
It is cute.
It's like the uke. You did play the uke, though, for a while.
I did.
Because uke's super easy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. So that was the one question we wanted to answer. Oh, what about the baby? How does it work? Are there some rules?
We'll have to come up with new rules because that whole 4th trimester of being pregnant, we're going to be locked in. I think until we find a new way to do anything. Yeah, that's it. We're going to be fully...
Yeah. So obviously our child is going to be the priority number 1.
As babies tend to be.
Our relationship is going to be priority number 2. Fucking backseat over here. And then the rest, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll take it step by step again,
My hierarchy is going to change.
There's going to be communication and like all the things we talked about, we will apply and, as we see fit and as we evolve together.
Yeah. Now, the year is...
The sheepskin story
2015.
Commences.
It's November, shortly after me and Marketa have already met, and my birthday is in November. And Ketty was hanging out with us over at a friend's house, and she was like, oh, I'm going to leave. But we were going to have some intimate time together, and I lacked a prophylactic. But my friend said, oh, I got one. It's one of those sheepskin joints. And seen the movie Booty Call. I remember sheepskin condoms were kind of a thing. I just didn't think about it a bunch. I was just like, oh, yeah, it's just a condom. I had sex on the brain, so I wasn't really thinking about anything else. And I was like, that's cool. And I used it and everything was great. And it was a good time. And there was no one who was upset about it at all.
The end. That's a lie. I was very upset about it. And you know what? Now I don't even know. I think I was upset that you didn't tell me. Because you put it inside of me.
Yeah.
You put sheepskin inside of me.
In hindsight, yeah, we definitely should have talked about it. But in my brain, I was just like, it's just a condom, whatever. Give me a condom. I was just like, I was singularly focused.
My organic, nature-preserving self would probably be good with it, you know?
God, imagine you were vegan.
But yeah, dude, like you have to communicate this.
Hey, that was 2015 me. I was like fucking 35, 25, 26, I think. God, that guy, what a dick ass. I'm all new cells now. Brand new me.
So, yeah, lesson is communicate.
Is that the lesson? I thought the lesson was that today's podcast is brought to you by Old Greg Sheepskin Condoms. Hey guys, are you allergic to latex? Maybe it's time you try something new. Old Greg Sheepskin Condoms. Download the link here using our hashtag C.A.K.E.
And with this fictional sponsorship, we will bid you farewell. Again, let us know what other things you're interested in us talking about. We have some topics lined up. We are going to talk about our past relationships from both of our perspectives. We are going to talk about what it is like to be in an interracial,
national,
continental,
intercontinental, interracial, international,
interreligious,
interfaith, inter everything. I think.
Yeah. We are. We are a melting pot over here.
Damn. Let's go, America.
No. We might talk about. I mean, this is. I guess we can talk about OnlyFans if you guys want.
Of course, they want to. Do you not see the topics they're already picking?
It is on ice right now, but we can talk about it. Anything else you want us to discuss? We will discuss. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful rest of your days. Let us know how your relationship is going and how this advice helped you in your lives, because we want to be helpful.
See, I think it's less advice and people are just being nosy. Regardless,
how did this gossip help you improve your day?
We will see you at the next one. Bye.
My brain. I'm sick.